I'm going to be showing you one of the best trades that I've ever filmed for YouTube and one of my best Forex trades ever. And I want to put some context around this. Not all of my trades are this good. I've shared many videos on YouTube of me taking losing trades, break-even trades, trades that were not nearly this good. But again, I want to just give you that clarity before we jump into the trade. I hope you enjoy. I hope you get some form of value. And I want to invite you to hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more of this sort of live trading content. Let's take a look at this crazy pound dollar trade. Hey guys, welcome back to another live trading video. Today I'm taking a look at GBP USD to the long side, and I am looking for a bounce off of this current level. Now what you'll notice is I do already have a position open on this trade, and when I say live trading in these titles, what I mean is that this is a trade in which I'm taking on a real account. This is real money, a little bit larger of an account than maybe some of the average traders out there. So I want to show you and give you guys sort of my raw reactions and reasoning behind some of the trades that I am taking. Now I just sent out this trade alert to the group. I am into the trade now and looking for some form of a bounce here as price has pulled back pretty dramatically after a nice run up in the previous days. What I'll also point out is that we had this sort of downtrend going on the pound. Things look pretty good here as they broke out today. And now as it's pulling back, like I said, I'm looking for that opportunity to try and catch a bit of a run up. We'll see if I can catch anything there. What I will do here is I'll explain the entry and as the trade goes along, I'll stop and start the video so you guys can see as the trade progresses if I'm able to make money or not. And if either way, I'll try and put it up on YouTube for you guys to get some value out of. Here is the trade alert that I sent out to members inside of our private Discord channel. You can see I said I'm going long here on the pound. I like to pull back to the 50% retracement and keeping my stops tight on this trade. From a technical analysis perspective, I do like the 50% retracement. I like the support zone, and I like the recent breakout of the downward trend, like I just mentioned there. I'm looking for fresh buyers to either push this thing up or I'll look to exit the trade quickly. From a fundamental perspective, I do like that recently on the dollar, things have been fairly bearish from the recent jobs numbers, which were much less than expected, as well as the comments from Jerome Powell recently about holding off on rate hikes, things like that, which have been quite dovish overall. So with that said, what I'll do is I'll pause the video, and once things get going, we will go ahead and give you guys an update on the trade. Okay guys, so it is a few hours since I took the trade, and you can see the trade is off to a really great start. I'm really happy with my entry here. Obviously, in hindsight, you can see this thing wicked all the way back up and even made some more substantial gains on the rebound. So I am currently sitting up just about $2,700 on this trade. I will say, however, though, I'm not going to sort of call it quits or jump to conclusions here. I am still holding on to this position and looking for more. It is not a place of greed. This is just what my strategy calls for. If the trend is still strong, there is no reason for me to just say, oh, well, let me just take profits. Because again, although that may work sometimes, it also will keep me from ever capturing the real moves that I'm looking to capture, which are things like a return to the high and maybe even pushing through the highs. So again, with that said, my goal with these trades is not to just take a profit just because I see green, but rather to hold on to this trade and let it, if it wants to, continue the trend and show massive uptrend continuations and to make a lot more money than just $2,700, which I know is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, I'm ignoring the voice that's telling me, the greedy voice that's just like, Nick, take the money and run, right? Actually, I'm trying to employ patience here, knowing that I have caught what seems to be a good start to a trade here, but now it is just a matter of holding on to this and trying to let it continue to run. This is sort of a poll that I did on YouTube recently where I asked my subscribers, I said, which do you think is more greedy, holding on to a winning trade or taking profit quickly? And actually the crowd was sort of against me on this. Most people said that, the greed is actually holding on to a trade for max profit. But according to my trading strategy, just to let you guys in on a little bit of that, the nature of my strategy is not to take wins all the time, but rather to try and hold trades for that massive, runner that it comes every once in a while. And that does require a high level of patience. So I am currently now sitting up $2,400 or so as we speak. This trade totally could come crashing down and reverse and take me out for, a loss. At some point, I will look to move stops to break even. If I do that, I will give you guys an update here. But again, congrats to anybody else who caught the trade inside of our private group. This thing is running so far. So I'm just going to give it some time, I'm just going to keep being patient here. I'll probably do some other things for a couple hours and see if this wants to keep going. And again, from here, it is just a managing the trade situation. We caught a pretty good entry there. So the entry was pretty good in terms of timing. We were able to jump into that trade and catch most of the upswing with very minimal drawdown. And now it is just a matter, like I said, of waiting to see if this thing wants to continue. I should also make the note that a couple areas of interest is to see if we can break out past this previous little swing high that we saw on the pound against the US dollar. That would be a really good sort of signal for me to look to start trailing stops. Should we see a break and close above that, I would definitely be interested in looking for the chance to hold on to this thing for a bigger move. So with that said, I will pause and we'll come back soon. Hey guys, so it's been another few hours here and I am currently sitting in the position now with my stop loss locked in profit, just barely, but just to be clear, I believe this is locking in about $150 of profit, which doesn't look like a lot, but again, it's a quite large lot size. I did like the trade quite a bit when I took it, so I was able to take a little bit larger of a size. Also, if you remember, my stop loss was fairly tight, so having this thing move in my favor this quickly has been great. Now it is just a matter of whether or not the market wants to make a continuation push. And I actually wanted to drop the time frame here just a little bit. We'll take a look at the 30-minute chart, and I want to show you what we're seeing here. So far, look at how solid green candles, how many solid green candles we have seen playing out so far. You can see we popped up there after getting the entry. Things were beautiful to the upside. We had this one red candle, and this was a little bit of a concern because I was like, okay, well, looks like we may have tagged some resistance and found some sellers. But again, very quickly, we saw more of those green candles. So I'm feeling pretty good about this trade. And like I said, from here, it is just a matter of whether or not this trade wants to continue to run. If it does, absolutely great. I will continue to hold on to the trade and maybe even lock in some stop or lock in some profit with my stop loss. And worst case scenario now is a great spot to be in. The worst case scenario is that price comes crashing all the way back down. We get some serious sell-off on the pound and ended up taking a small profit there around $150, which of course would not be the best scenario. I would be a little bit disappointed, truthfully. If you saw the last video I shared on YouTube with one of my trades, I filmed a CAD yen trade in which price did something like this and came all the way back down and tagged me out for break even. So we'll see if that happens again. May just be a little bit of a losing streak in the market if that occurs. But my goal here is to try and hold on to this trade. Now, again, my natural reaction, just to be completely 100% honest with you guys, when a trade goes like this in my favor, just like we talked about when we were up $600 or whatever it was when I filmed earlier on, there is that temptation to say, hey, I really want to close out of this profit and just take the money now. But again, according to my strategy, my goal here is to catch the big runner. They occur every once in a while in the markets. And for me, that is where I get my edge, is catching those every once in a while, really great runs. For example, let's say had I taken a long position somewhere around here, price goes in my favor, I continue to hold it, and I'm able to somewhere get out of the trade somewhere like there, right? That would be one of those crazy runners. Now, what that does to my trading, which a lot of people don't really like about my trading style, which by all means, I'm not telling you should do what I do. Some people don't like that sort of approach due to the fact that what ends up happening in this case is a lot of times there is some disappointment. My win rate suffers tremendously because I go for large winners, right? So again, if this trade breaks out and continues higher, absolutely great. I will continue to trail the stop. And if price comes all the way back down, will it be disappointing? Truthfully, yes. But again, this is the only way that I capture those trades that you occasionally see up on my YouTube. I caught a trade like this once on CAD CHF. It was like a $3,500 profit or something like that. One of the best trades that I have taken in this year, 2021. So again, maybe looking like we have that opportunity here if we can get a little breakout to the upside there on the pound. But my goal here, like I said, is just to sit still, be patient, sit on my hands and let this thing either continue or stop out for slightly better than break even. So with that said, what I will do is I'll pause the video, give it some more time, play the patient game, and we'll be back soon. All right, guys, just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update here on the position. Things have gone quiet here for a few hours. I'm looking at the 4-hour candle, and you can see that things have basically just gone sideways. I do have my stop loss in place, so my goal here is to either see hopefully with the upcoming London session, either a breakout to the upside that can keep me into the trade, or if price does decide to break lower and come back down, then I'd probably hop out of the position. Just because also I want to point out that, you know, if you're looking at this thing on like the 1 hour chart or the 30-minute chart, it does look like it does have bearish structure. But again, that is where context matters. So looking at the 4 hour chart, you do have this higher time frame breakout to the upside, this retest here. And basically my idea is I want this thing to either continue fairly aggressively and quickly. Otherwise, I want to get out of the position. And that's not sort of, just greed or demanding that it does what I want right away. But the point is, I want it to either do, make a push higher quickly or get me out of the trade quickly as well. Because there is no telling, I don't control the future of the markets. Fortunately, I'm in a good spot here where I have trailed that stop to break even. So I'm basically risk-free on this trade. However, again, price did break out. I really would like to see the follow through of the bulls pretty quickly. Otherwise, I'm just going to chop this trade up and get out of the way in case this thing does decide to sort of continue that lower time frame downtrend that we've been seeing. Guys, one more thing before I am off for the day. I completely forgot to mention my thoughts here on the DXY. I pointed this out earlier in a live stream on my channel here. I actually really also like the dollar to the short side as we come into resistance. So this is a complete, this is my bad for not mentioning this earlier, but I did love this area of resistance here as price was rallying today on the dollar, which is partially what got me into my trade. If you remember, I bought the pound dollar. So if we're looking at GU, right, the pound against the dollar, if we're saying that I am bearish bias on the dollar, like I mentioned in that trade alert that we did on Discord, and bullish on the pound, right? So I'm looking for dollar weakness. Well, I really liked the dollar short at the 50% retracement. Once we saw that level get tagged, that's pretty much right around the same time that I went long on the pound against the dollar. So a little bit of context that I forgot to mention earlier is that I am short bias on the dollar. Technical analysis here looks really clean. You do have that 50% retracement as buyers did come in, but then now as we tag resistance, like I said, I'm looking for a little bit of follow through here as we tag some pretty key levels of resistance to keep me in the trade. So again, part of the trade bias here is a dollar bearish outlook going into the rest of this week. So just thought I would mention that with the trade. Well, guys, check this out. We are currently floating up $4,800 on this trade. What started out yesterday as a simple entry turned into a massive scale up to the upside here. The London session came in very, very strong. Buyers were relentless, it seems like. We had multiple strong green candles in a row, and we were able to break out of that resistance that we talked about that gave us a little bit of trouble on the initial push of the trade. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here, and there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, I'm floating just under $5,000 in profits on this single trade. This is the best trade so far that I've had in quite some time, and I don't want to blow it, because we have to think about everything that we've discussed in this video so far and stay true to the principles. Because let me tell you something. Remember, when things were going well here, I wanted to take profit. When things were going right here, I wanted to take profit. When things were not going so well here, I was definitely a bit nervous. Not nervous, but I was just like, well, maybe it's just going to come back and go for break even. So what do? What do I do? Do I hold on to this thing, relentlessly? Well, the truth is yes, but within reason. So what I will be doing here is, now that we have seen some strength from the pound, some true strength to the upside, some really good movements here, I will begin moving my stop loss up into profit. So what I'll do is I'll lock in some amount of money using my structure here in the market. So what I want to point out is that what was really big resistance here is now going to be used as my reference of support. I'm going to expand this level out to include this little spot that we had some struggle. And what I will be doing, and I'll move my stop loss up to lock in some gains. So what this will do is that no matter what happens on this trade from here, I will be walking away with some amount of profit. Now, there is still, don't you even worry, there is still room for disappointment because of course, everyone wants to take $4,866 off the table right then and there and just be happy. But again, this is what's kept me in the game for so long, is this discipline and this patience right here. So I'm saying that with confidence, but truthfully, you know, it's a battle, right? Because in my mind, I'm like, hey, I want to take this profit. But I know that what I need to do in this case is to continue to hold on to this trade, let the winner run. This is a winner that you finally, it's like getting something big on the hook if you're fishing and letting it go. If you don't, you've got to hold on to it, right? You got to fight the whole battle. So what I will be doing, like I said, is I'll be trailing my stop loss up to structure or just below structure here. I'll lock in some amount of gains so that in case price comes all the way back, right, I will be looking to still keep on to this trade. Now, ideally, what I would see is that this price would come back and then this price would continue, find demand, right? I want to see this price keep going. And I know that I'll get comments, you know, people are probably watching this trade right now and they're like, Nick, you're driving me crazy. I just want you to take the profit. Like, because I know that sometimes people watch these videos and they say that they're a little bit stressed out alongside me, which, by the way, I appreciate you supporting me here. But my goal is not to stress you out. My goal is just to stick to my strategy. Like, this is real money for me, you know, $4,800. Like, that's no messing around money. Like that, you know, that could pay our office rent for a couple months, right? So that's a big deal. So, like I said, my goal here is to continue to hold on to the trade. So what I will be doing is I'll be trailing the stop up to just a little bit better than, or just, you know, basically putting it underneath structure here. I don't want to see price come back more than that. If I were to just draw a fib from the new move here, what that would do as reference is I want to put it underneath the 38.2. So I don't really want to see this thing pull back much more than that, right? So I will use this as my reference for a stop loss. So I'll probably put the stop loss somewhere around here to lock in at least a good bit of gains. I'm going to guess that's a rough, you know, locking in about $2,500 or so. Hey guys, just a reminder here in the middle of the video, I do want to let you know that all the trades that I take, I share inside of our private Discord channel. It is a service that myself and our team here at A1 Trading, there's multiple full-time people who are putting in the effort to build the very best trading community. And I want to invite you to join us inside of Discord. There's actually a link down below in the description where you can sign up to see all the trades that I am taking, as well as our other analysts at A1 Trading. You can join our coaching webinars, join our chat rooms, access some of our strategy libraries, software tools, all sorts of great things. There's a link down below in the description, and there's a promo code. If you use that code, it will give you a discount on joining us inside of the group. Okay, so I've just updated my position. I checked the numbers and it was just approximately $2,500, maybe a little bit more. So my stop loss is now moved into profit. And now I have alerted members as well. So, you know, as I go along with these trades, anytime I take a trade, I share it with members in detail. So I'm thinking, you know, if anybody else on the community is riding this pound dollar trade with me, you know, they may want to just see what I'm doing, what I'm thinking. So I try and update everyone as I go along. So with that said, I am now just going to force myself to be patient. Now it is 6 o'clock in the morning. I like to get up early, usually before work, just to, you know, do morning things, hang out with my cat and, you know, stuff like that. So from now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to force myself. I'm going to sit on my hands, quite literally, and just take some time to let this thing make a decision. Now, again, it's not easy, right? Because part of me is like, Nick, just take the profit and be done, right? And I'm not, the reason I keep saying that, you know, is to hopefully explain some of the psychology behind the trading that I do, and also just to show you, like, I am human, right? I'm a normal person, and so I say these things to sort of bring myself. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes people will put YouTubers like myself and others on this pedestal, like we're some amazing, ungodly creature that trades the market. But the reality is, we are people too. I make mistakes too. You know, I mess up on my strategy occasionally, right? So the point here is actually documenting it and telling you how I feel helps me as well. And it helps me to stay true to the plan, truthfully. So with that said, I'm going to pause. I'm going to let this trade play out for a little bit. Maybe I'll get a chance to move my stop up a little bit more. Just to be truthful with you, I think my next place for moving a stop is if price is able to get up to this level here, I may look to aggressively trail from there. All right, guys, quick side note here on the pound dollar trade. You can actually see that our thought process on the DXY, the US dollar currency index, is actually playing out as well. You can see that level that we pointed out at the 50% did end up holding very well, and so far is helping to drive our position on pound dollar. So just a little reference, the more you know. So again, had a little bit of a resistance point here at 50%, held very nicely, and actually is guiding our trade right now. So again, we'll see if we can get some more weakness on the dollar as we were looking for in order to push that pound dollar higher. All right, guys, we've done it. We have made it to the moon. This trade is still going higher. You can see I'm in my office now. That's why I have the cameras. At home, I don't have it set up, so I apologize for that. But I do got the cameras on now, and you can see my smiling face, because this trade is going crazy. And all we can do here is continue to stick to the strategy. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but that's the point. It's supposed to be consistent. It's supposed to be disciplined. So I am currently floating just around $6,000 on this trade. Guys, just think about it. You know, the other day when I filmed the earlier segments of this video, I was sitting up $1,500 and I was very, very happy with that trade. Again, if you remember, I pointed out that I wanted to take profits so bad during that time, but I fought the urge due to the back testing that I've done on my strategy. Like, I know what works for me, and what works for me is being stubborn. And I'm gonna make you guys a little bit of an analogy here because I think this is kind of important. So again, I'm holding onto a trade that is up $6,000. And sometimes you may have heard the phrase diamond hands, okay? And I have a phrase that I want to coin here today with you guys. I don't know if we'll get it to go famous or as famous as the diamond hands people, but I want to talk to you guys about this concept. So diamond hands is where you basically hold on to a trade for better or for worse, right? You go all in on something like AMC or GameStop. We saw those those meme stocks get really popular in the markets, and people were quoting those diamond hands, right? They're never going to let go no matter what, wherever it goes. I don't really believe in that, because if the thing goes against me, you guys would have seen me take a loss, right? If the trade had gone immediately against me all the way to my stop loss, out of the trade, cut it short, get out of there and find something else to do and find something else to trade. But today I want to talk about what I'm thinking in my head, which is iron hands, okay? This is stupid. Like, it's completely dumb, but I just want to talk about it because it's something I'm thinking about. And that's what I make these videos for. So I have what you would call iron hands in this situation. I'm holding on to something that's going well stubbornly. Like, I am not willing to let this thing go just because I see profit, right? If I had done that, if that was my logic, I would have taken profits back here or back here, right? I would have left so much of this move on the table. Now, of course, in hindsight, that looks great. Obviously, we know this thing is running really well in my favor. There have been plenty of other times where I take a trade, it goes a little bit in my favor and then comes back and tags me out for break even. I've had videos where I've put up where I take a trade and immediately goes against me and I share a loss. And of course, those videos will happen, and that is a result of the style of trading that I do. I have a higher losing rate than win rate, but my winning trades, when they come about, if I'm able to catch the move that I'm looking for, like we see here, a nice little inverted head and shoulders pattern on the pound dollar 1 hour and 4 hour charts. If I'm able to hold on to these trades, this is where I find my edge. I'm up $6,000 on this trade. I have now locked in my stop loss. We are looking at a stop loss of around $4,500. And in terms of pips, we're locking in just shy of 75 pips on the move. I'm very happy with how we are sitting. Whether this trade keeps going higher or it decides to come crashing back down. Either ways, I am in a very, very good spot. This is, of course, the ideal situation you want to be in as a trader. Of course, if this thing comes back down, maybe I'll kick myself in hindsight and say, hey, that's a doji candle. You should have closed, right? But again, we could have said that many, many times on the way up. I am a trend follower. Until this thing is no longer trending, I am going to be holding on to it. How do I define a no longer trending aspect? Well, again, we've shown this strength in this market. We've got this nice little inverted head and shoulders pattern. We've seen a breakout to the upside, very strong momentum. I really don't want to see this thing pull back much more than to this previous support. So what I have done is I have just alerted members inside of our private Discord where I shared this trade. I'll pull this up. I basically just said it launched, and I have now moved my stop loss up. So I have locked in some more profit on this trade. So I'm not diamond handing it. I'm not holding it for better or for worse. I am trailing stops to lock in money on this trade, but I still want to give it a chance in case it wants to keep running. We very well could see a push to the high side. Again, we are just shy of resistance, so very well could keep popping up to the upside, right? So I don't want to cut this trade short just because I see profit on the table. And vice versa, you know, continuing even higher, there's nothing saying that the market cannot do something like this, right? And if that happens, I want to try and stay in the trade. And I know I get criticism on my channel all the time from people who say, Nick, you should just take profit, be happy with what you get. But again, the only reason I have this trade so far is because I've been stubbornly holding on to a winning trade, as opposed to how many traders often stubbornly hold on to a losing trade. My strategy involves stubbornly holding on to winning trades. I want to show you guys this, something else that might be interesting to you. Check this out. So if we go head over to the website, this is a1trading.com. This is our company website. You can see the retail sentiment. What this is telling us here is that retail traders currently are 63% short on the pound against the US dollar. Why does that matter? Well, if we know that the pound dollar is heavily shorted by retail traders, it gives me that added extra confluence to want to stay on the long side. Again, knowing that the average retail trader loses money and they are all short on this thing, or a large proportion, a large majority are short on this move, makes me more likely to want to hold on to this thing even longer. So again, I will pause the video. We'll see if this thing wants to keep going, if we're going to get that turnaround and take profit. So either way, in this case, I am happy with the trade. And if it stops me out, then we'll take that profit before the weekend. So with that said, we'll pause and let it go a little further. Okay guys, so I have trailed the stop a little bit further on my position, and I want to show you a little bit of what's been going on. So we are currently still sitting up around $6,500, but I want to show you where we currently sit. You can see that the pound dollar does have this notable resistance. Now, even though this trade is going very well, my goal is to not get super greedy or anything like that. I do still want to acknowledge that price action is price action, and we do see a bit of rejection coming into this candle. Now, if this candle closes super bearish, I am basically trailing my stop loss to just sort of hedge this position or put in a little bit more protection on the trade in case this does turn into a bigger reversal. Like I said, we have poked all the way up into a major level of resistance where we previously found some very, very strong sellers. So I am paying attention to that. I'm keeping that in mind. Of course, I still want to give the trade the chance if it wants to try and consolidate and break out higher, then by all means, I'm happy with that. I'll continue to trail stops from there. But I have locked in on this trade, the stop loss here. So if this does turn into a bigger rejection, if we see more sellers push into this market, that is going to be my exit signal. I have now locked in profits to a higher degree. And let me show you a little bit as to why I locked it in to exactly where I did. Well, what you'll notice is that we had a couple candles here that tried to show rejection. You can see this candle right here and the following candle both had a little bit of hesitation from sellers and from buyers. There was market participants who basically may have been taking some profit or selling at this resistance, and there was a bit of a dip. After that, however, the buyers were strong enough to push this thing right back off the lows and to show a nice big, buyback after that wick. So what that's telling me is that sellers, although they are sort of relevant in this area, we do still have buyers in this general zone as well. So my theory here is that what I will do is I'll use this stop loss and place it just behind where we previously saw buyers get strong. If buyers are not able to hold this area, that will be an exit signal for me, meaning if price pokes down through here, then it's possible that we could see a bigger retracement on the pound dollar. And in that case, what I will do is I will stop out for my profit. I'll take that profit and may look to re-enter at a later point on this pound dollar position. So with that said, I'm also not opposed to the opportunity to re-enter this market, right? So one thing I should make note of is that although I'm not, taking profit just because we're at resistance, I've got my stop loss trailed in here. If price comes back down and tags me out, what I will do is I'll take my profit, be happy with the trade, and may look to re-enter at a better time should we see more pullback. Right? So that's where I'm at with the trade. What I will do now is I will pause and continue to let this thing decide to play out. If we can get a breakout, great. I'll look to trail stops further. And if we see the reversal, then I will also take my profit and be happy with that. All right, guys, you know the drill. We are back here trailing stops further on this GBP USD long position. I'm currently sitting up at the time of filming this $6,850. And I do want to mention a little bit why I am trailing the stop. I'm actually keeping the stop fairly tight here because because I want to point out something sort of interest here. So what you'll notice is that my stop loss is actually pretty dang close to where price currently sits. That is a stop loss of just about 13 pips away from the current price action that we're seeing. And I want to clarify sort of why I have that there. Now, on the 15-minute and the 30-minute chart, what you'll see here, this is a lower time frame. I'm just watching this thing as it does continue to run. We saw some consolidation. We saw a breakout here, and I'm pretty much in this situation where, okay, I've got a trade that has run and run and run. I want to keep giving it a chance to run in case it does want to. But as we do pull back here, I either want to see this trade continue higher, right? Break through this resistance, or I will take my profit there and lock in somewhere over $6,000 on this single trade. So not bad at all. Now, I should also mention that the key reasoning here is if I look at the 1 hour chart, you can see that we have some really significant resistance if we look left on this market. Again, price came up to this area previously, and we saw a major sell-off as price action basically went bearish, and that was after a pretty good run-up as well. So I'm not ignorant to the fact that we do have some reasonable resistance here in this level, and so what I'm doing is I'm giving price still the chance to break out and to continue higher if it wants to. But if it doesn't, I will take my profit. So that's why I've kept my stop loss fairly tight, locking in at this point. This is a total of, let me see, just about 100 pips, give or take. So in this case, the worst case scenario is price does find some more rejection here. In this case, I will take my profits with the stop loss. And if it keeps going, then by all means, I will continue to trail stops. And hey, maybe we see the tap of 1.389. Of course, I am not a future prediction machine. I'm not a crystal ball owner. All I can do here is continue to react to the price action that we see, which for me means trailing stops and letting this thing run. So with that said, I will pause, and pretty soon we'll know whether or not I'm going to be trailing stops further or if I'm going to be stopped out finally out of this trade for that profit of somewhere around $6,000. And the trade is over, you guys. $6,156 on a single Forex trade. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm honestly just shocked that I've even experienced this trade, probably just as shocked as some of you guys out there in the audience. So again, over $6,000 locked in on this single Forex trading position. What ended up happening was this level of resistance did end up holding. And I also saw something else on the daily chart, which made me a little bit hesitant. And I'll explain that here. So let me show you that. So what I saw on the daily chart is that we did also sort of have this descending lower high concept here on the daily chart. So again, although we've been seeing this little higher low sequence, to be fair to the pound dollar bears, there has been this level of lower highs coming into this market. So I am very happy to have taken the profit where I did. And truthfully, it doesn't mean that I'm done with pound dollar. Just because I'm done with this trade doesn't mean it's my last trade on the pound dollar. I may actually look to add more trades on at a later point. But again, just because we saw that rejection there, we're seeing some sell-off come into this market. I am happy to take my profits there. I will take any day of the week, $6,150 something. Now I know some of the comments might be, well, Nick, you were up 7,000. You should have taken 7,000. But of course, hindsight is not on my side. When I take these trades, I don't know what's going to happen next. They are truly live trading videos. And so my goal here is to show you what my real trades look like in real time. You know, by the time I upload this video, maybe the pound dollar is shooting through the roof yet again. And that's okay. Maybe I'm catching the next run. I'll be looking for setups here. If we do get a retest, I may look to join another trade. So with that said, for now, I am out of the trade. Very, very happy with this trade. This is setting a record for me in terms of my personal trading. I have never had a trade this large in the Forex market. I've had stock trades that I've done bigger than this, but for me in Forex, this is the first time I've ever had a $6,000 plus win in the Forex market. I think my second best ever was like 3,000. So this run was just absolutely insane. If you guys remember, I got in way back here and ended up covering just back here. So I will take that any day of the week. Like I said, 6,000 bucks in my pocket there for this Forex trade that really only took me a couple hours of work. right? The analysis stage, going through my charting techniques, as well as going through the latest developments. What ended up happening with the UK was some very hawkish news from the central bank there, which is something that I'm not going to say I predicted, but it is something that I have sort of been leaning towards. They've been outpacing some of the other central banks in terms of monetary policy, and I was looking to see if that would play out. There was a bit of a surprise. Things were much better than expected, and bam, off she went. So with that said, I'm out of the trade. I hope that this trading video was helpful to you. I do want to encourage you, if you haven't already joined our Discord, join it down below in the description. Come trade with us. Maybe we'll catch another move like this in the future. So with that said, guys, thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Trade safe, and we'll see you back next time. Thanks, guys, for watching today's show. I hope you got some form of value out of it. Make sure, if you're new to the channel, to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get more free trading content with us here in the future. And also, if you're in the market for a broker, we've got some recommended brokers listed down below in the description. You can check the links there. It'll take you to pages where you can read up on the broker. Make sure to do your own due diligence if you'd like to sign up with any of these brokers. But again, some of our recommended ones are down below in the description. Thanks very much for watching today, and we'll see you back in the next one.